Welcome, welcome, welcome to our unpopular opinion. We have the Mr. B Stradivari and my Miss D,
Hey y'all.
my Miss Marcella,
Hey, everybody.
and my Miss Michelle.
Hey, everybody.
Today we will be talking about the most common thing that's happening in the community today is the Asian community is really upset with the Black community for not marching, not stepping out on the community for them. And basically, I would like to know your opinion on the Asian community amongst the African American community. And Miss Michelle, since I saw you shaking your head, I mean, that must mean you really got something to say about it. So let me hear your first opinion on the Asian community when it comes to the African American community.
Just be glad some people are standing up for you, okay? You don't need no march. The reason why we march is because this has been happening to us for generations, not decades, generations.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I am seeing, there are people standing up, including the Black community. There are, people standing up for you to make sure that you are protected, so to speak. So stop whining. You don't need no march. The reason why we march is because we've been marching. I mean, come on. Look at the history books. We've been marching. Okay, it's this is like a delicate, sensitive kind of situation because you can say a whole lot of stuff, but you can offend them. And I don't want to offend them. But overall, just know that there are people, communities out there that's standing up for you. You don't need a march. You're not being killed. You're not being strangled. You're not being stereotyped and pulled over because you're Black. You're not being done none of that. So let it go.
Just let it go, huh? You done with that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Let me go with Miss D on this one. Mr. Molly, how you feel about this?
First of all, I don't know how the Asian community feels about us, but I know that I've seen the conversations around, I've seen the side of why would I stand up and fight for the Asian community when the Asian community hasn't stood up and fought for me one bit. And I've seen the side of a lot of Black people, we have good hearts, and we're on the side of, I stand on the side of love and justice. So I'm going to stand in solidarity, with anyone who's seen injustice or who has been a victim of white supremacy. And I think the real sad thing about this whole situation is we're having a discussion about Black supporting Asians and Asians supporting Blacks, but we still are not talking about white supremacy. And this is the root of it all.
That's the root of the whole entire point of the issue, is what you're saying.
Of the whole discussion. We have another victim of white supremacy, but now the focus in the media, or the focus between the people, is why aren't these people standing up for these people? Or it's just the conversation gets taken away from what it needs to be really about. And that's what pisses me off about the media. We're always projected onto something that really doesn't matter, and we just skip the things that really matter.
Okay, well, Ms. Marcella, can you go ahead and give me a insight on this?
Oh yeah. This until Black Lives Matter, nobody life can matter, because I think I said on another episode, maybe the first or the second one, that if you stand by complete in silence, then you are an accomplice. And so there is no comparison. We have a history of white terror and terroristic acts in our community. And so, yes, I think if anybody could sympathize, it is Black people and other Black Brits and Black people all over the world, but it's perplexing how we always become the fault for things. Like it's our fault. Like Damali said, Damali. Like she said, we're not looking at the larger picture, and instead of shifting the blame everywhere, let's just shift it where it is. It's terrorism. It's straight up terrorism of people who are not white. And with the challenge that Black people have is that we have been front and center for many decades about what's been going on in our community, and we have been pleading for support and help. Some people put signs up in their yard and say Black Lives Matter. But I think because of the culture or the mindset, I might have mentioned that perhaps some people didn't understand what we were going through. And so it's an indictment on anybody that was silent. But it's also, I would say, a reminder that if you stand by and watch a neighbor be brutalized, then what's to stop the animal from coming to your house and brutalizing you? I do not feel the need, and nor can I. I physically can't go out there because of the nature of the work I do. I physically cannot go out there and march on their behalf. But as the Honorable Nilly Fuller Jr. says, what would bode us all well is if we understood issues in our community that affected us and worked to address them. And I know we're going to have another round of this, so I'm going to end it there.
Well, that's definitely it. The point of the matter is we spend all of our money on, the salons that they made, their hair products, their fingernail products, and their stores that they have, and their restaurants that they have, where they have the Chinese restaurants in the Black community, and they're calling on us because we're the ones who give them the most income. Basically, we're the ones who basically fund them. Now, I kind of blame this kind of talk on how Donald Trump blames the coronavirus actually on them, where he says it started from them. He calls it the Wuhan virus or whatever. But technically, he started the pandemic on attacking them and putting them to the forefront. Now, do you feel as though that this is another avenue of them diverting their energy on them instead of us? Or is it just them asking us for them to be their saviors and to take the blows from them? What do you think about that, Damali? What do you think about that, Miss D? You're still on mute over there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't really clear on the question, Strat. Can you
do you really feel as though that they are diverting the African American fight on them, or we're not going to attack the African Americans, we're going to now attack the Asians now? Do you think they're trying to divert their fight on us?
No,
or on them, so to speak.
No, I don't think so. I think that if you have the illness of white supremacy or racism in your mind, then you'll attack anybody who's not you, and the media will jump on any chance to create a racial divide. So if a white supremacist attacks anyone other than a white person, it's going to be front page news, because the point is to divide us racially, and then to pump out this narrative of why aren't Black people marching for Asians. There goes another opportunity to create a racial divide. They're busy putting out all these narratives to divide us and keep the spotlight off of them and their terroristic ways, which is the problem.
Okay. What about you, Miss Michelle?
Okay, I was like Damali. Say that question.
Do you feel as though that the Asians, they are taking the focus off of Black people and now focusing on Asians with racism? Basically, taking all of the blame off of the Blacks and putting it on the Asians at this point.
What was the Blacks blamed for first?
What do you mean? They were blamed for not defending them in the community. Like when this mass shooting happened, they were like, why aren't Black people with picket signs and standing out and basically going to do marches for them? Why aren't we doing marches for them? So they're blaming us for not marching for them.
For the latest shooting?
Yeah, for the latest mass killing of Asians dying.
When did that happen? I haven't been watching TV, so that's why I'm asking these questions.
Oh, you don't. Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
let me give you this.
Well, real quick. Well, that's what I'm gonna say. But real quick, I figured you was talking about something else, but because I can't say when I have watched TV or when I have listened, the Asians were starting to complain because they didn't feel protected by the U.S. citizens, because the U.S. citizens are still blaming them for what happened regarding COVID. So, and it's starting to become more consistent in people attacking the Asian community. So I thought you were speaking in that matter.
I am, but it's even gotten worse where they had a mass shooting. I think it was either 8 to 13 Asians getting shot and killed. And they blame.
Is this the one in California?
No, this is the one in Atlanta.
That's the one in Atlanta.
Yeah, what happened was it was a what was it, a massage parlor?
Yes.
Okay.
And I heard that one. I'm sorry.
Remember that one?
I heard that
one.
Yes, I heard that one. Overall, how can I? Okay. This is gonna sound mean when I say it.
Go ahead.
It really is.
Let it go.
It's gonna sound mean when I say it because I don't want it to happen. But once something starts, it is tentatively to happen again.
Okay.
So it's like, if it happens again, then we march. That's why I say it sounds so mean and so insensitive, but it's like, it's only happened to you one time. How many times have we gotten killed? How many times have we gotten hurt?
It's been a lot.
How many times? And we didn't even march every time. That's the crazy part about it. And another thing, you didn't see us marching for the Caucasian community when they was having those mass shootings. So why all of a sudden you want us to march for you? I'm not trying to be mean. I'm really not. Because the only reason why people was marching for George Floyd, marching for the black community, was because the cop shouldn't have did what he did to George Floyd. It was just blatantly seen publicly. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then the cops are supposed to protect and serve, and they wasn't doing their job. It was more of another avenue, because every mass shooting and all that we've had, we have not marched for it. I'm trying to figure out, well, us black folks ain't the ones going out killing everybody. However, so, I'm sorry. It's the we see, and it's fact. So don't say I'm wrong or mean. It is the Caucasian community going, or Caucasian or other cultures outside of African American, going, killing up other people.
Okay.
And you have not seen us, and correct me if I'm wrong, have y'all seen a march for that? No. You just hear a whole lot of hoopla on government about gun control, in which the only time I finally agreed with Ted Cruz is when he said what he said. I don't know if y'all heard how he said, all y'all gonna do is say this and say that and not do nothing. Okay. I had to agree with him on that. He said, why all of a sudden y'all trying to say something now? This is another circus. I don't know how he put it, but whatever he said in the office or whatever they was at, I had to agree with him on that. Every time a mass shooting happened, you want to then holler gun control. You should have been did gun control, bottom line. But let's get back to the Asians. I'm sorry. We're not going to march for you. We didn't march for the Caucasian people. And the only reason why we march for us is because people that's supposed to have responsibility and protect the people, such as the Asian community, the Hispanic community, the African American community, people as a whole, they didn't do their job. And it's been going on for too long, and it finally was exposed. That's why we marched. So, again, do what you got to do, like you've been doing, community, and leave us alone. I mean, we got our own problems. Everybody got problems. So don't try to come blame us because we ain't helping you. We are helping you. We always in your hair stores. We always in your gas station stores. We always in whatever you build in the hoods. We always in your food restaurants. So don't say we don't support. We're just supporting another avenue. I'm gonna shut up on that.
Yeah, to answer the question directly, yeah, I'm not marching. I barely march when something happens in the Black community. First of all, I'm just not a marcher. I don't believe marching is effective anymore. It's just not. What we're doing here, having media that helps, shift the mindset of the people and let them have a different perspective. That's a fight. You know what I mean? I don't believe in marching, so I don't march. I believe in, what some of the sisters and brothers in the community are doing, coming together and feeding the homeless, taking care of the youth, all those kinds of things. But to march for me is a waste of time. It doesn't resolve anything. All it ends up being is a march, a kumbaya, and then everybody go home and do the same thing over and over again. I don't march.
I'm Miss Marcella.
Oh yeah, I was just listening. There's so many parallel issues along this line. First of all, yeah, the president did say Conwine flu. I mean, I hadn't realized he had said that. The news media had constantly provided the narrative that the flu started in China. It was therefore China's fault. It's always finger pointing, and it's ignorance too, because like everybody, just like all of us, isn't necessarily from Jamaica or Africa. They have different origins of the globe that they're from. Who you may think they're Chinese, but they could be Korean. You know what I'm saying? There could be so many different ethnic groups and from geographical areas. A lot of people tie, but try not to get too emotional because I'm about to start talking about women's rights and stuff too. But a lot of people oftentimes tie our struggle to their struggle. The guy that was in there, that was a terroristic act. I think a Latino guy, a gentleman of Hispanic origin, got shot and killed got shot in the face and was killed on the way out. His might have been a crime of opportunity. All the people in there, I'm not sure exactly the full breadth of what they were doing, but the gentleman stated that he had a sexual addiction and he felt that it was their fault. I don't know how he came to it. I don't want to speculate. What I do know is that a lot of times Asians are accepted into the dominant class. They have a lot of economic power. They have, I would say, cultural cohesiveness. They have real estate. A lot of them were given Chinatowns, which I will admit is a lot of sewage problems in those areas. It was once one of the most undesirable areas. But if you go to any city or state, I lived in Japan. They got a Chinatown in Japan, right? And so my point is, it's a booming economy that's appreciated by most Americans. So I think whenever there's an issue, it's always tied back to us. We have the civil rights movement with different laws that was placed on the book because of the way that we were treated for hundreds of years, and our very specific situation that is pretty much common to anybody that was involved in the diaspora through the triangle. So it wasn't just in America. So the point I'm making is, yes, how the 8 women in Atlanta was treated and killed, and the one guy that I'm aware of. I'm not even sure because I think they're up to 11. It was a tragedy, basically. I wasn't happy to hear about it, and I didn't feel that they deserved it. But it's the reality in America that can happen anywhere. And for people to think that we should get out there and march, knowing that it's a difference between when we march and somebody else peacefully march. When we march, they had the insurgents. You had a couple of people that died, unfortunately. But when we march, it's more the authorities utilize a great amount of, I would say, aggression towards us. I would like for people to call it what it is. A lot of people are frustrated. I couldn't really. The guy that killed the 8 Asians wasn't talking about the COVID. They're accepted largely in communities of affluence and even I would say the Anglo-Saxon communities. I went to school with many of them. And I would say that there has seemed to be a time where as we've been getting drugged through the mud for decades and centuries, it's almost as if it's just a struggle that everybody sees and nobody really concerns themselves with. It's almost as if they say this is what it is, and they're savages, and this is what they deserve. Now, we could talk honestly and candidly about them being in our communities with their businesses, enterprises, making great amounts of money, and oftentimes not doing a doggone thing for our community. So I think that most people feel that they need to support people that supports them. And as I keep speaking on the Honorable Nilly Fuller Jr., he is about community building. I think that the way that we get it is stop this from happening as much as to present strong legislation. There is an issue with gun control. I mean, you had if the legislatures and the gun lobbyists and everything couldn't find it in their heart to do anything with Sandy Hook, with their children. It was their children that was the man. It's nothing more scary than a young white guy walking around in a trench coat. That's all I have to say. I could speak. Taliban. I mean, this violence is a problem. They were recently marching over in England for a woman that was killed by her police officer boyfriend, and for some of the women that was out there in support and influence, nothing happened to them. But for other women, they were treated differently. There is an attack. This is why I said, don't get me talking about women, but there's attack on women. You know what I'm saying? I said another day, a few days ago, that when a woman is harmed, you know, families, communities are harmed. And I don't feel that, like Damali stated, that marching is the effective tool today.
I really don't think marching has been effective, period, to me.
Absolutely.
The only reason why the 60s kind of were more effective is because they shut down the bus system, the metro systems. They pretty much stopped funding different things that made it effective as a march. But the march pretty much met no effect until Martin Luther King pretty much lost his life. So it was like more of a sign to tell you that this is kind of what the world wants you to do. Let's march and be silent, and let's not be violent about what's going on, even though the violence was happening amongst you. You know, you were being tortured and pillaged and raped and everything when there was no actual anything. You're really fighting about marching? Is that a fight, or is that a cry for help? I'm just trying to figure out, you know, the aspect of the Asians blame game, and why did they pick us to blame for all the things that's happening to them, for us to help them, right? And you're still trying to blame us at the same time. You're not going to get two of the same deal. You're not going to blame the Black community and blame us again for not helping you. It just doesn't make sense that you keep on blaming us. Yes, Michelle, I definitely want to hear you on that one.
No, I'm gonna piggyback on what she said in the beginning, and it's sad, but you hit a point. People wanna have. You made the statement how they want to jump on our pain or what we went through and think that we should feel the same way because it's happening to them, and they feel that we should help them because they know it's always happening to us. You don't have that right. You know,
they don't even have the right to even blame us for anything.
They don't have the right to blame us. But you said something, Marcella, where you said they trying to jump on our pain.
Oh yeah.
What did you say?
I was saying that if you silent, you're an accomplice, and it's been decades that we've been being brutalized on national TV. And we mentioned about, you know, the Honorable Mr. Floyd. It was only reason people became outraged because it was broadcasted on TV, and and a lot of people had the time to actually sit down and digest that, and that was inhumane in my opinion, and it was unjust. So our civil rights issue is one that stems from historic and I would say institutionalized racism.
Wow.
Now, I'm not going to say the guy wasn't a racist, but I can also make the argument that he was a sexist too, because he primarily went and killed defenseless women. The problem also is gun control and a lack of apathy for people who don't look like them. And
but if they had guns and shot back, then what then? You can't blame it on gun control then.
You're right. But most of the defenseless people being killed, like children and women just trying to make a living, are not toting guns. When a woman, okay, so here's the deal.
If they did, things would be a different conversation.
As long as they're a good shot, you know, I'm a soldier. So, I mean, what good is it to have a gun if you can't shoot it? If they're good shot and they want to protect themselves, then by all means. But I'm saying if I'm in my place of work, the assumption is that I'm safe. And this guy had been to that business before, so they knew him. This was an unexpected attack on people who trusted him. They need to put racism back in the DS. Well, was it ever in the DSM, that Scott?
No.
It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And you know what's crazier is that the authority, I don't even know who he was, but he said the guy was having a bad day. What about the people who died that day?
Mm-hmm.
They don't get to have another day.
Well, all I will say is this. Overall, for everything that we've said, we never want any type of community, Asian, Hispanic, Black, or even Caucasian, to suffer any type of brutality, bulliness, anything. Let's make that clear and straight. However, we all need to fight our own battles. Okay. Don't come. You know, we're gonna just like there was all the other diversities marching with us. But if you see it, the African American community started marching, so the other communities brought themselves to join us. So if you want us to march, start your own march. How about that? I didn't think of that. Start your own march, and then you may see the African Americans, the Hispanics, the ones that have love, join you in on your march. But remember,
we march all the time. I don't see a lot of Asians marching with us when we march. I don't see that.
That is true, because I sure be watching online to see on TV, be like, oh, okay, there's a lot of Hispanics. Oh, there's a lot of Caucasians. Now Asians, I haven't been seeing y'all, but y'all want us to march.
Even if it's a sprinkle, I don't even see the sprinkles in it. I just don't see the sprinkles. I mean, I'm just saying.
Wait a minute. You don't even see a spot.
Right. I would have to roll the tape back maybe 10 or 20 times to see if I see somebody that is of an Asian descent to ever be.
Exactly.
So
because
one thing that I'm trying to focus on is how could you blame on something that you've never done? You've never marched. You've never been through this type of pain that we're actually going through, and we've actually been through for so long. You've never actually really been there to feel this pain. This is like your first time. It's a first time event. It's like you've never been in these shoes, and for you to blame us for something that you're not, you know, that you've been through and put us in there with it is kind of like, you know, you're a hypocrite.
Wait a minute. But the whole time things have happened on all levels, whether it was white, Black, Hispanic. You never heard the Asian community voice anything. I think they're the one community that know how to mind their own business and keep their mouth shut. Okay? They're probably the only ones that be like, that ain't our fight. They're the only ones that know which battles to fight. And unfortunately, it's their own battles. But if you are like that, much respect, because I like people that mind their own business and keep their mouth shut and stay out other people's business. I like that. However, if it start happening to you, don't look at us to voice our support when you didn't voice it when it happened to us.
Miss D, what do you think about that? What do you think about that?
I mean, I can see it both ways. For me personally, I'm not gonna march, but you know, I stand against white supremacy and white terrorism, whether it's against Blacks, other whites, Asians, you know, dogs, cats, whatever. You know, I'm against the terrorists that keep terrorizing people's lives. Period. Okay.
Period.
So if that means I'm in support of Asians or Indians or Australians or whomever, I'm anti-terrorism and white supremacy. Period.
Okay, well, I'm gonna piggyback off of this because it kind of to me is a moot point at this point in time when we still have a lot of fighting to do between our community. We're still fighting with each other. We're still fighting off other people against us. So it's hard to put the Asians in there now. It's like I don't know if I can even put you into the fold right now. We still got a lot to deal with right now. I can't even get you. You can't be a part of something that, I can't be there with you right now because we still struggling through, economics, development. I mean, they're giving you things that you already have, and we don't have the things, and you're on our soil. So it's kind of like, I don't know if I can fight for you about something that, you've never really fought for us at all.
Listen, I'm sorry, real quick. It's a lot of stereotyping. We're the community that's the most stereotyped. And I'm just gonna speak facts. If an Asian American went into the bank versus an African American, who you think gonna get the loan faster and without no questions asked?
Well, we already see that they get the loans faster. So
that's what I'm saying. So what you got to complain about? You get stuff way much better than we do. Leave us alone. Fight your own battles. We got, but you don't hear us asking you for support.
That's true.
I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but it is what it is. What people don't say, they don't say the behind the scenes stuff, like I'm saying right now.
Okay.
It's sad that it's stereotyped like that, but it is what it is. It's facts. We see it every day, all the time. So,
what you feel about that, Marcella? What you feel about her saying that?
I think we've been in America's frying pan forever, and the heat has been up. Okay, so now that the heat has been turned up, I think they're understanding. They have a glimpse of what we're going through. And it's nothing wrong with wanting support because you feel alienated. And I'm not going to get emotional. I'm a woman and I'm Black, so I sit at the intersectionality of being a Black woman. So I understand the female issue, the fear of being, killed. I mean, like a lot of women die. But, like Michelle said, if you organize, we're very supportive of everybody. If you organize, and you're sincere, a lot of times they take the playbook. This is our playbook. This is what we've done. And so if you organize, it's not like we're not going to say it's wrong. But what I will say is that it's a violation. People get human rights and civil rights confused because every group, I'm not even going to start talking about the LBT.
All those letters, I get it.
Like they're experiencing a lot of animosity and violence towards them also, and to some degree it all boils down to a person's human rights to live. Our human rights has been violated along with our civil rights, and a lot of the strides that we've tried to make, many different groups has rode on them and quite frankly flourished and moved through them and got legislation and laws passed, just like with the Jewish synagogue. I mean,
Ooh.
This is a rough one. I mean, this is a rough one. My hearts go out to the ladies that were murdered, but go ahead.
It's rough. No, you're right. It is rough. And it's a subject that really, I'm going to be honest, in my opinion, that should not be discussed because there's no way of justifying anything. It is what it is. It's going to happen. It's just going to happen. So when it happens, your community get together and do what you got to do. And if you have other communities joining in, so be it. But if we're not, just do what you got to do. Fight for yourself. And like Marcella said, it ain't just the Asian, like it was the Jewish community too. It was wrong for what happened to them, generations or decades ago. So it's going to be.
No, not just decades. I mean, they just shot up a synagogue about 2.5, 4 years ago?
Uh-huh.
Well, I was talking about just the whole Jewish.
My point in this aspect of it, will Asia come and rescue these Asians in African America? Because Africa has never came to rescue us from America. So, as they say, we should go back to Africa. I'm just saying, they have not came to rescue or even said anything to America about their actions on the melanated man and the melanated woman. They have never came to our rescue. Other countries and continents have never came to the African American person and came to our rescue. They've said nothing. They've kept their mouth shut since I've been here. My parents been here. My forefathers been here. They have never came to my rescue. I'm trying to figure out whether they pick on the Asians long enough, will they come and rescue them? Now, that's the difference from their country and our countries. Will they rescue them from all of the transgressions that they're going through? And Mr. Molly, what do you think about me even saying that, something like that?
I think it's funny. I mean, who can tell what the Chinese government will do? I mean, on one hand, I would say that because the Chinese government is a communist government and they have a lot of economic power, in order for them to uphold their facade as an economic power and a world power, that they would indeed, like, for example, when this terrorist goes to trial and if anything happens besides the expected of a, death penalty, whatever,
because they didn't shoot him.
The highest penalty, right? The highest penalty. If that doesn't happen, we'll see. But I just, and then on the other hand, China has its own issues with human rights. So, would they really step up because human rights are being violated in another country? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't really think they would do anything unless they needed to, in order to save face politically and from a posturing and image standpoint.
Marcelo, what you think on that? What's your take on me saying that?
My take? Well, first of all, a lot of Africans all over the world is catching hell under the same system of they call it imperialism in a lot of instances. They're catching hell, and in the same way the Asians want the Black community to help them. Well, America has had, I hate to use this euphemism, but they've had their feet on our throats. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So when you what can we really do? Okay, so I'm going to say this because I'm going to let Michelle talk. But what can we really do for the Asian community? And we have the power base. I mean, we get out there and work with y'all. I mean, really, you wanted to be a black
everything.
So we don't have the power. We don't really have the power. The issue is the violence against American. Let's just take the color out. The violence against American citizens through guns and whatever means possible is a problem. And that's an issue that has to be addressed. We get it worse because we're on the other end of the spectrum and we're not really fully respected collectively. But we're here. We like the cousin or the redhead stepchild that everybody know exists, but nobody welcomes to the Thanksgiving dinner. But we're here. We're not going anywhere. How do I feel? I think that a lot of Asia, Southwest Asia, many different parts of the world, people who we may think from China, but not really from China, they may be 5th and 6th generation Americans. They were put in internment camps. Also, especially when Pearl Harbor happened, they wasn't really popular back then. So to blame the fact that this guy obviously said that he had a sexual issue and that he killed women of Asian descent and try to put that in a whole bag of racism, it was a lot of different parallels there. A lot of different parallels. I think that nobody's going to come save me. And I think most people feel and understand that. Nobody who is going to come save us. We got to save ourselves, like Michelle said, but it will require, I think, some collective and cohesive actions because we have the same problem. We have the white trench coat and the sick mindset and the violence. It's the same problem. Just because they have a taste of it, it's not even as large a dose as we have. We have yet to see, and I'm not trying to compare because loss of life is loss of life. But some of the things that we've seen happen to men that looks like you, Mr. B, on national TV. Some of the things we've seen, some of these other groups will never see that happen because they are held to a higher esteem than we are. And we're not supported. We're not supported collectively.
Okay. And Miss Michelle, you know, I heard you screaming over there. You got something to finish this conversation on?
I mean, she hit it on the nail. You have everything. They have everything. Now, they had the work and they're business smart to do what they're doing. But even though you're in our you're on our territory, you're in our atmosphere, you don't give back. Mm-hmm. We don't get nothing from it. Mm-hmm. It's like we're depositing in you, but we don't see you depositing. You're in our area down the street from our schools, but when was the last time you did a donation? When was the last time you helped was it PTA, PTO, whatever type of club in the schools? When's the last time?
They're not in the schools. You're right. You talking about the parent teachers, the parent and teachers.
Nobody's
but no, I'm just saying. You know, even before COVID happened, you don't hear the store down the street went ahead and paid for the little men to do sports football or flag football. We always, you didn't go and buy no shoes or no uniforms or anything of the such. We're always depositing and putting our money in you, but we never seen you put your money back in our community. You see what I'm saying? So, if that's the case, so be it. You're business minded. You knew where to go to get the money. Hey, that's anybody. I'm going to go somewhere, sell something in an area where I know I'm going to get a lot of money. I ain't knocking you on that. However, if you talking about you want us to come help you and fight your battles or support you, then let's turn it around while you sitting in our communities and down the street from where we live. Why don't you give back to our communities? And maybe we'll say, okay, I'll march with them because they always, doing this. They're always doing that. That's all I got to say to close this out. Next subject.
All right. On this next subject, we're going to be a little bit touchy on this next subject. I'm actually see where you ladies' heads at on this subject. And it's kind of the battle of the sexes. And when I mean the battle of the sexes, I mean at this point in time, I went to a HBCU school. My HBCU, well, I'm gonna just go ahead and say I went to Delaware State University. The Hornets. I went to Delaware State University in a black school at a black college, and at this university, at this point in time, the ratio of men to women is 24 to 1. So 24 women to 1 male. So I kind of think at this point in time at an HBCU that our women are fastly getting ahead of the black man and the black male. I know how you say the black male might be the CEOs and the top this, top that, but the women are way more educated than the men at this point. They have finally moved the pendulum or the spectrum or the needle when it comes to being able to educate themselves, being able to give themselves prosperity. They basically have wiped the black man off to the side and chose their own path instead of depending on the man together. They've actually just done it all on their own now. It's all about them. It's all about the strong woman. So what do you think about the 50 to 500,000 ratio? So the male, I'm the black male, and now you're the woman that's making 500K, and I'm barely making any money to be able to get a woman like you. What do you think about this 24 to 1 ratio in these schools nowadays? Let me get Miss D on this one. Let's go ahead and start with Miss D.
Oh man, this is a loaded question. So first of all, if you want to find out why you have 24 to 1, well, let's just go backwards, right? What's the graduation rate of black men in high school?
Okay.
Right? Start there. Why do black men drop out of high school? Our education system is trash. It's not designed for black male. You can't tell me that in an education system where the black male is the top performer from pre-K to third grade, and then in fourth grade, when education drastically switches from hands-on to straight listen and lecturing, the black male's performance severely declines because they are hands-on touch learners. Like the school system is by design is not for most black men to succeed, just the way that the teaching is set up. So that's number one. The programming, the mental programming, our black men are programmed in such a way that they are on a path of destruction unless they have supportive parents or a community that takes their attention from what's totally being fed to them and gives them something else to focus on, something good that helps them to kind of be nurtured and grow and do something besides the rap music and the media that they see. If they don't get any other message, they go down that road. But for like myself and my brother, we got a different message, even though we saw all of that. But I think it's just the whole system, the programming is by design. If you look at the interactions between black women and men, even the television shows, the black woman is always presented as independent, not needing a man. The black man is half-ass represented in TV. It's either usually a gay man, more usually the black man is a gay man.
Praise you on that.
You really never see a straight, successful black man in the media. You see a sprinkle here and there, but for most parts, if you look all across the spectrum of all media, the most representation you see of a black man is a homosexual man. Mm-hmm. That's another thing. I mean, there's so many things that have been targeting our black men to not be a cornerstone in the black family. I mean, if you're not going to marry a woman, you can't be a cornerstone in the black family. If you're going to be in jail, you can't be the cornerstone of the black family. If you can't be educated, you can't be an entrepreneur and support yourself, you can't be a cornerstone in the black community. So it's a war. It's a war on the mind of our men through programming and, just constant imagery that produces low self-esteem in our black men.
Okay. Miss Michelle, are you ready to answer that question, or you need to hear Miss Marcella on that one?
I was listening to the Molly, and I was like, okay.
I want to know why is the ratio? I went to an HBCU college. Why is the ratio 24 women to 1 male? What is the difference of right now? The ladies right now have changed the pendulum, has changed the needle of making the 500,000, and right now the black male is like the 50,000.
Well, I went to at the time Houston Tillotson College. Now it's Houston Tillotson University. And when I was in college, graduated magna cum laude, by the way. Anywho. Okay. Now, we was more evened out. It was a lot of men in college. However, I graduated in 98, so over 20 years, 98, 2008, yeah, over 20 years ago, I could see it changing for what you're asking.
Okay.
Because we have a new generation, and when we was growing up, it wasn't pushed and railed into us, you're going to college, you're going to college, you're going to college, you're going to college. Now, the way things have changed and modernized, all the men are just getting their hustle, they side hustle, or starting their own business because one, they haven't been taught to have the mentality for college. Two, if they're not wanting to be a doctor or lawyer that requires you to go to college, and they don't have that kind of thinking or even want to be that, then no, they don't want to go to college and learn because the streets is teaching them.
Okay.
Life is teaching them. So they trying to figure out, well, what am I going to learn in college if I'm having to struggle just to get to college?
Okay. Okay.
And far as the women, in our mindsets, we ain't letting the streets teach us. We're going to be book smart.
Okay.
Or we're going to be industry smart. So we're thinking, okay, we're gonna make that strive. If I don't go to college, I'm going to a what's other places called?
Vocational school or
vocational learning or something. You know, they're gonna do something to develop a skill if they haven't already developed that. So that's why you have more women, because I don't care how down we go, we are in a woman, a strong woman, as low as she goes, she's still gonna be like, okay, I gotta get her from here and I gotta do something. And don't have kids. Oh, you really see your responsibility then.
But y'all, I'm gonna let Marcella speak on it, but y'all still leaving us out. Don't get it twisted. Don't get this conversation twisted on what I'm saying to you guys. Don't get it twisted on me telling you y'all are still leaving us to the wayside.
Well, how do you feel that? How do you feel? Please explain to me your commentary on how we are leaving y'all on the wayside, so I can better understand and give you a proper, real response. How about you let us?
Y'all still kind of like leaving us to the wayside at this point.
Give an example. How is that? Give an example.
Once you get yours, you leave us.
Oh, hell no, that ain't true. Y'all know, you know good and well, us women love hard. Okay, a true alpha woman loves hard, and if I'm
telling you, as in my, I'm putting myself in my own shoes. You have left me to the side because of how big you have gotten in your profession. You're leaving me behind because you're not trying to build and gain with me. You're just trying to keep everything on your own.
That's not true. Let's say it's half and half. Then, even if it's that much, because me and I believe the Molly and Marcella are the same type. If I'm making it big and it's God's will for me to make it big, trust me when I say I'm gonna still stay in my woman or wife's place and be like, this is my husband. Like, babe, let's survive on me, and now let's build yours. You see what I mean? Wait, because we can't control how life deals what it gives us. And if it's the Lord's will for me to make more money than him, to offer us that opportunity to go off of my money so he can build his business, as long as I have that mentality that I'm going to build my husband's business because one of us is sitting on paper to still take care of the family or to take care of us, then you need to have the common sense to know, hey, this is my lady. She's still with me. She ain't putting me to the side because she's all big. I'm going to have to suck it up, my pride. Let's live off of her paper, build us up, and then we come together and go for the long haul. He supports me, I support him. That's how it should be. Now, you are correct, Mr. B. There are some women that leave men.
Black men out here right now. It's a lot of suffering black men out here.
Well, y'all need to open up y'all doggone mouths and say something instead of being all quiet.
And I'm going to be honest to you. We're more bitter than anything about the situations and the lifestyles that we're living at this point.
No, you ain't no more bitter than us for those women that have supported their men or husbands and then they get all big and bad. It works both ways, honey, because there's many women out there that have supported their husbands, have built their husbands, have put their husbands in the positions that they were, because that is what a good woman would do. And then they go and leave them for the massage therapist or the secretary with the children.
Well,
think about me saying
so I don't blame some of these women that have left these billionaire CEOs when they have helped them build their business. You sure better pay me, doggone it. Pay me for my time since you couldn't take my love.
See, I knew I was going to press that button. What you think, Marcelo, on Mr. B talking like this? What do you think?
Well, I think, again, just like with the last topic, we're blaming the victim, right? And so we're all in this together catching hell. And it's a matter of access economics. I think it's a misguided idea that somehow we're the target because of the way that the system is, right? We're operating within a system. So I go with economics. You know, if you look at any inner city neighborhood, a lot of people may be renting the homes, right? And so the schools are paid. Schools, the neighborhoods you live in, if you own the home, your taxes goes towards the schools. If you're in an economically disadvantaged area, the amount of money that's donated to the schools is comparable to the amount of money that you're actually able to make. So that's one issue. So when you go to college, you have to be able to pass entrance exams. You have to be able to perform at a certain level. If you have substandard schools and don't have access to good education, then you are not equipped to perform at that level. And that's where the first battle is fought. It's always access and economics. The second thing is, hey, the prison industrial complex got a large number of our men. Mm-hmm. Where are they going to go to school? And then a lot of our men may not make it to 25. How are they going to go to school and take care of their families? The Black woman tends to be the head of the household at a disproportionate numbers. She's
right? She's leading the Black community in every aspect of how economics is ran at this point.
But is it her fault? Because, you know, there are certain programs in place that help women who are in that situation. For whatever reason, she's a single mother. It could be that her husband died or her.
She put his ass out.
Okay. All right. But you know what? Even if the relationship don't work, doesn't mean it has to be solely single-led. I can't go into individual relationships. I'm just going abroad. It's just a broad stroke. I see what you're trying to do, Mr. B. Now, you know, like I went to an international private college, right? And while there were many people of color represented there, it was not as many Black Americans because they couldn't get beyond that the entrance requirements, the economic and the intellectual. And it's not that they wasn't smart. It's just that, you know, if you come from a place you didn't really have good schools, you graduated, you still got to take that test. You still got to perform at the highest level of some of the best people. So it's not so much just the Black woman leaving the Black man behind. It's systematic reasons why there's not as many Black men in college. And quite frankly, when we were just talking about racism and stuff. So what happens after you get out of college and you're not even regarded because people have biases against you because of the culture set that you are a part of? You know, you get all this. We talk about student loans, how high they are. What do you do? What do you do? So I don't think that the Black woman is leading the man. Oh, I forgot the main point I wanted to make. A man's worth is based on his ability to provide. And if that's snatched from up under him, it's an affront and attack to his manliness sometimes. I would say all the time. So what do you do when a woman is making a lot of money? You know, it could make you think, well, what the heck can I do for her? Or she's educated, but you know what? It's specialized knowledge that makes money in this country. So if you have specialized knowledge, it doesn't matter whether you go to college or whether you just build on what you already know. We are not the enemy, but I think, for lack of a better word, I think people pull the trigger on us like it's our fault, but it's not. We just taking opportunities just like the Asians are, but not quite in the same way, because we do hold our men down.
Okay.
And we hold our communities down. As a matter of fact, sometimes we stick by men that we shouldn't. Okay. Because of the sexual conditioning that spans from slavery and the fact that we were bred like animals. Wow. And so some men will do things that's indicative to building families and communities because some of these things has been passed down for generations. So that's my take on it. I hate to make it seem all scholarly, but we're in this thing together. We need to support each other 100%, in my opinion. And I say the trash truck driver in a heartbeat, he don't have to be so-called white collar. Don't have to be. Just a good man with a vision. Mm-hmm.
Right. Miss D, what you got on this, Mr. Molly? How you
so my situation is a little bit unique. So for one, I'm not married to an American Black man. I'm married to a Nigerian, first of all. Okay. And I knew in high school, honestly, I probably wasn't gonna marry an African American man, to be honest with you. Like, I already knew.
Why he wasn't good enough for you?
Because, no, not good enough. It's not good enough. It's the mindset. I just didn't like the mindset of the black man at that time. Like I just knew. So I never really wanted to attract an American-born black man.
What was wrong with his mindset? What did he do?
Because our programming is so messed up in America. I mean, we're not respected by black men. You know, it's just a lot of unrealistic expectations. You know, like, you know, the black man wants the black woman to be a superwoman. They want us to build them, feed them, you know, nurse them, be their mama, because, you know, their mama was cussing them out, so they want us to be their compassionate nurturer because their mama wasn't compassionate and nurturer because she was too pissed off at her baby daddy, they daddy who was in jail or gone or whatever. So the black man wants so much from the black woman and then turns around and just totally disrespects us. So I just knew in high school it probably wasn't going to happen, and it didn't happen. I'm gonna start there.
Well, I'm gonna tell you now. Well, hold on real quick. I agree with you because the court is still in session on which culture I'm gonna go to. He may be white, he may be Hispanic, he may be black. I don't know because y'all crazy. You just need to have some common sense. But continue. I just had to throw that in.
Are you serious? I'm coming back to you.
So let me finish. So that's one thing. The mindset, you know, and it, you know, we have allowed our minds to be so infiltrated with nonsense. I mean, the black woman has been programmed to be strong. So of course we're going to be strong. We're going to succeed. We're going to go to the highest of heights that we believe we can go to because that's how we have been programmed to operate. We have been programmed to say, okay, well, if he can't keep up, I don't need him. If he can't buy me a Louis Vuitton, I don't need him. If he can't buy me red bottoms, I don't need him. That's how we've been programmed. So you're looking at a sister making $40,000 a year. Talk about if a dude can't buy her red bottoms, then he can't be her man. Well, you can't buy yourself red bottoms. What do you mean? You know.
So you're saying if a dude can't buy you red bottoms, the girl like, oh, I'm getting rid of this dude.
Right. So you know, it's just you know, it's a lot of programming that we just deal with. So I mean, I understand why. You know, we just from a general standpoint, we don't have time for the BS. I mean, if you're not gonna do something with yourselves, if you're just gonna be a homosexual and just try to get in a relationship so you can have a home cooked meal and a nice warm bed and not do anything with your life, you know, hey, it's too much of that going on. You know, I've seen it in around me. I've seen it with friends. You know, it's dudes out here just whack, man. The programming is out. They're not built to be men. They're not built to support their family. They're built to just sow their oats, create babies, and then halfway support them. That's what we just see too much of that in our community. And for the men who are, they get snatched up quick.
Oh, quick, huh?
And then there's the other side of the men who are educated. They feel like they're the cream of the crop, and so they a lot of them are not going out there and getting a wife and building families. They're enjoying saying, you know, they're enjoying the fact that there's a 24-to-1 ratio, and they can just jump and pick and do what they want to do. And if it's not a perfect 10 out of 10, they can just keep on hopping around. And a lot of them ain't gonna ever find a 10 out of 10, so they just gonna keep on hopping around. And we're just gonna keep on being alone, being successful, getting to 6 and 7 figures, and doing what we got to do and supporting our children that we're raising by ourselves. You know,
that was one aspect that I thought that was going to be touched on first, was since it is 1 to 24 ratio, was the black male just going to keep the man, the millionaire, was he going to keep jumping from woman to woman and not picking and not staying with the actual one? Like the Michael Jordan of the group is not going to keep his wife. He's just going to keep jumping around until he just tuckers out. You know, the fact that I came at you guys with this mentality of the ratio of the men and women ratio is just how things have been developed. You know, you talk about how the jail system has most of the black males, strong black males in it, and the most heterosexual black males are basically put to the wayside by different spectrums. Like most of the different spectrums I'm trying to say is in Hollywood, you know, we're not getting the major roles. You know, it's mostly the LGBT community that's getting those major roles in all of Hollywood. They're basically taking over. So even like if Kevin Hart, if he says something or tells a joke about them, he's already scrutinized for just by having a joke. So if he's looked at differently because he's so strong in his will, how is that going to help us be able to get the woman that we truly deserve? I mean, she's already kicking us to the side because you ain't doing right, you ain't doing wrong. I mean, even when I go walking, when I take my walks every day, I see how many males are actually standing out on the street asking, asking you for stuff, just ask you for a change or trying to sell you something, trying to sell you a stogie, trying to sell you a cigarette, trying to hustle. Their hustle game is low level hustle game, you know what I mean? But his ass is still out there on the street, you know what I'm saying? And I know not one, two, and three ain't gonna pick his butt up. Not at all. Look at y'all shaking y'all heads like, nah, I ain't picking him up off the street. He done asked me for $1 for a cigarette. Oh, that's not high price. That's not a high price male for you. You need something that's gonna be able to build you and pick you up. So how naturally are you going to be able to bridge the gap at this point from this 24-to-1 ratio? How can we bridge this gap, Miss Michelle? How can I bridge it? Because I know you ain't gonna go out there and get my man that's trying to sell you one of them single cigarettes. Look how you thinking about it, like.
I mean,
you're not gonna pick him up and make him.
If you need to think about it, I have an answer.
well, yeah. I mean, I have something to say. It's just how to say it, and I want to make sure that I'm saying the right. I'm answering the right question. Mm-hmm. I'll put it this way: I saw a movie. Let me just go. You know how I saw a movie, and in the movie, the black guy was homeless. However, the young woman saw him every day. And he was always he was homeless, but he was clean, a little clean, not bad. But during her route to wherever she go every day, he would help her, speak to her, and all that stuff. They'll have interesting conversations. Then something happened where somebody was about to attack her, and he saved the day. So then that made her find out a little bit more about him. And she found out more. She found out where he stayed. And she could tell from his dreams, he was doing what he was supposed to do, get a job and all that wonderful stuff. So when she saw him doing something, she was like, okay, against my better judgment, I'm going to let you stay with me. She took him to her house. He took a shower. He got cleaned up. She went and bought him some clothes. And he went to his interview, got the job, everything. But it took time for her to get to that point. But the thing is, he didn't let his pride keep him from getting to where he needed to go. In the movie, they fell in love. Some things happened, but they fell in love, got married, yada, yada, yada. It's a movie. But the message that they was trying to show, it works both ways, Mr. B. Y'all need to put your pride out the way and just make up in your mind. It ain't about the masses of what they doing. It's about what you gonna do.
Okay.
And if your wife is making more money, if your girl is making more money, but they don't make you feel like that, they still be like, babe, hey, what we gonna do? Babe, you got the car. Come on. It's ours, not just mine. It's yours. They don't make you feel like that. And then they be like, okay, babe, what we working on today for you? What do you have going on? What do you need me to do for you? Take your pride out of it and let us help. Then you won't see you being left at the side of the road. Because the main thing you want to do, you know how you can run a woman off? Your pride and your non-communication. And then when you hold it in for so long and you blow up in front of us and embarrass us and blindside us, deuces, I'm gone. Because you've had plenty opportunities of time to step in that open door that I did. Step in my open arms and be like, babe, you mine, I'm yours. Let's build this together. But because how men were raised, a man should do everything. My dad's like that. A man should do everything. Yada, yada, yada. That mentality. It's all about the mind. If you can break yourself out your mind, then you good.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. What's up, Miss D? What you got to say on this one?
Well, what I was saying earlier is that, you know, my situation is a little unique. Now, when I was married, when I first got married, my husband was not a U.S. citizen, and he was living in another country, going to school, and just, you know, doing trade stuff, buying and selling stuff. And so one of the major issues with us was he did not want to move to America without having a certain amount of money in his hand. And so because he hit a financial struggle before he came, it delayed his moving to America a couple of years. And it got to the point where he was like, you know what? And we were both like, you know what? I just got to come, you know, what I have, you know.
Okay, and he wanted to be financially stable before he came.
And so it was just like, you know, babe, just come, take a leap of faith and come. He came, and it took 11 months for him to get himself, you know, established and stabilized, you know. Okay. And of course, me being a college graduate and in engineering, I made, you know, 6 figures, 6 figures, upper 5, 6 figures. And so I was a major financial support for our family for a while, you know, but, you know, and knowing my husband and knowing his goals and what he was actually working towards, I was very comfortable marrying him in that state. I would not marry somebody who was just hustling cigarettes on the side of the street. You know, I wouldn't marry somebody I wouldn't even date somebody who did that. Now, if we talked and you had a bigger vision and it was just something that you did, you know, I just don't know that I could marry somebody that was what their hustle ended up being. You know, I'm just saying, like, so I'm it's all about potential and work, you know, and what you're willing to work towards. So I saw that hardworking. I mean, just the fact that he moved from Nigeria to another country and now to America says enough to me that he's a worker. He's going to pursue his dreams. So I knew he had it in him to do whatever he had his mindset to do. So, yeah, I mean, it just depends on you as a man. Are you confident in yourself when you present yourself, or is your low self-esteem showing when you present yourself to a woman? You know, it's about you, how you present yourself, how you know, show. Can you paint a beautiful picture about our future? Or if I look at my future with you, am I gonna see? I'm seeing a decline. I'm not seeing up. I'm seeing down. If I match myself with you, so if I cannot imagine myself going up with you, there's no way I'm gonna date you. And that's just plain and simple. No matter where you are.
Okay, Miss Marcella, go ahead and throw some punches. Throw them rope and dopes over there.
Well, I will say that me and Damali have similar backgrounds. So I get what she's saying, right? But it shows you how much as Black women why would you ask us will we marry a homeless guy?
I didn't say he was homeless.
I'm just asking. It's almost as if, you know, like we are of value, but we're not always highly valued in the marketplace. Okay. And so the fact that we always have to bear the brunt of just a bullshit negative experience, because there's no woman you can ask it's not many women you can ask that, hey, would you? There are a lot of women doing it though. Don't get me wrong. I mean, love is love. Okay. But most women wouldn't sign up for a situation that's just rough like that. You got to realize that, hey, we have the children, we want to build. And if you don't think, most women, if you don't feel that you could build and overcome with the person, then you won't. So obviously, you know, like I know Charlie Wilson was homeless and now he's really famous and everything. And I believe it was a Caucasian woman that kind of, you know, helped him along and everything. So him and many other people, Tyler Perry, he says he lived out his car. So a lot of people have been homeless. The question is, and don't get me wrong, I ride hard for homelessness because there's so many different reasons why somebody is homeless. But there's a difference between if you see somebody that may be down on luck and trying to overcome an adversity versus somebody that, hey, they got some other stuff going on that if you even align yourself with it, you're going to be putting yourself in danger. I think that for the most part, any person with any level of, let's just say, esteem, right? It's not going to sign up for a situation knowingly where it's just going to be mayhem and downfall. And that's where I am with that one. I would not
What did you call that again, though? What you call that?
Mayhem,
what you call that?
Mayhem.
Repeat that again. What you call that again?
Sign up for a situation where it's going to be mayhem, and I think I said downfall, downtime.
Oh, no, you said why does the black woman have to always be put with the bullshit? What the bullshit?
Has to bear the brunt of the bullshit experience.
Yeah, like I mean,
Damali got to remember it too.
Yeah,
I'm hashtag that.
Thank you, Damali. Yeah, why do we? Why? The question is, why are we expected to do that? You know, why are we expected to deal with stuff like that? You know, there's no other group that, you know, you see them on the TV. I ride or die for my man.
They expect us to. They expect us to because there's a 24-to-1 ratio, and that's bullshit.
And the ratio is through systematic means too. And the birth rate, most of the time, it's what, 2 to 3 women to every 1 man that's born. And our community has a black woman dies in childbirth on average 5 to 1 in any other group. And then on top of that, so we have this high infant mortality rate, and then we have a disparity of how many women are born to each man. And it's like that in all cultures. Some of them might be 1.5, some of them might be 2 to 1. No, ours is largest. So I would say that
huge.
Yeah, we want to survive. And so, you know, the survival of the fittest dictates that you date people and procreate with people who have the ability to live and increases the chance of you and your children of living. It doesn't make sense if you want your future generation to live to just date death, basically. That's what I'm gonna say on that.
That's huge. That's something to say right there. That's the pillar of this conversation at this point. You're basically saying you wouldn't even date death. That's like looking at death right out of the barrel of a gun right there, as if you're trying to marry something like that. That's pretty deep, Marcella. That's way deeper than the conversation I thought was going to really go. That hit
serious.
Home.
It's serious.
Wow. So the benefit of understanding self and what they can do with your wealth is basically what you're telling me is how we can bridge the gap between relationships. But it's just that some of these men out here, some of the males out here have been so far put down that they can't even get themselves out of this brunt. You know, I'm just honestly saying they can't get themselves out of the root of their own evil. And it might take one or two of you to be able to smack his ass right back into reality of success. I mean, I'm not his mom. Other than that, he's not going to be able to make it or do anything to sacrifice himself to. I mean, unless he's going to rob a bank and never get caught. I mean, and then be able to get you. I mean, it's just not going to happen. I mean, or just do something diabolical where he's able to.
I disagree.
Get the woman
it's not about the money. You don't get it, Mr. B. It's not about the money.
Y'all saying it's not about the money, but that might be where his mentality is.
It's the mentality, yeah. And the mentality is gonna bring the money. So that's the thing. If you have a trash mentality, you have a mentality that is a poverty mentality. You're not even trying to come out of that. Then it's no possibility for a future with me at all. Period. No. Even in my youth, I just had a certain standard on mindset. Like I couldn't.
Okay.
But I already said, if you men get out your minds, then y'all be all right. And you can be, and there's no way you can get out of being as low as you could go. If anybody could get out being as low as the dirt if they want to. But if you don't want to, you might as well just go up and die then. If that's the case, there's no reason to finish living on earth. It's wrong and harsh for me to say that. But am I telling the truth?
You telling the truth.
If you can't get, that means that you don't want to be here on earth. And I don't want nobody to feel like they can't be on earth. So don't think you can't get back up off your feet, because you can. You just got to make it up within your mind. Ain't nobody else can do that for you. Okay? Nobody can do that for you. Only but you. And if you want to let that demonic spirit keep telling you you ain't nothing, well then, I mean, what else you gonna do? Still here on earth? And it ain't make no sense for you to leave. We want you to stay. Hear me? Stay. Right. Get your act together. Get back up. and do something, because there's somebody in this world that needs your help, your experience, your expertise, because everybody on this earth has a gift. Right. So you just need to find your gift, develop it, manifest it, and use it to help others. Bottom line.
And to piggyback on that too, if I may, you know, one of the things that is a disservice to our men is this facade that college is the road to success. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm college educated. My husband is not, and honestly, I'm not pushing my kids to go to college. I want to set my kids up to where they'll be successful before they even reach college age. Okay. So that's my experience. But anyway, for our men who are struggling in school, college is not the only road to success. There's so many hands-on trades. I know a lot of, like I said, I know a lot of broke college students, and I know a lot of well-off people who never went to college. Mm-hmm. Entrepreneurs, tradesmen, electricians, HVAC, welding. I know people who make really great money with things that only took them a year or 2 years to do in school, hands-on. So don't limit yourself and think that you can't be successful just because you don't have a college degree. The limit is in your mind. Take the limits off your mind.
Good point. Anything you got to say on that, Ms. Marcella?
Well, I like to say that during war, the first thing they do is burn the village, kill the boys, and kill the strong men. What we have here is a lot of our strong men and being killed on the street through various means. It's not just internal to the community. We've seen it on TV. The boys never getting to understand and make it to manhood, you know, to understand what manhood is. So it's really, I think it's just a bit more than money. That's why I said it's not just money. When a Black woman cries and is in pain, nobody really cares, because to a certain degree, we're not even considered women. We're considered, I don't know, a hybrid between men and women. We're always expected to be strong. Vulnerability within our community for women is not tolerated. It's not accepted. We're expected to carry the brunt of everything on our back. And it just stems from slavery, I think, with the way that we've been cultivated through this culture. I think naturally we are strong women, don't get me wrong, but I'm not a man's, you know, look, I need rescuing, you know, and so if we are all struggling in this, why would I double my burden? Why would I double my burden and risk future generations with a man that don't understand manhood? It's not just about money. Y'all have a certain type of strength to introduce and also to lead and create a vision in families. I think that we are in an environment that has us, you know, trapped within it, but it's not conducive to our well-being. I don't think that it's just that the men may not be where we would want them to be within the system that don't support them. And, you know, the Honorable Dr. Francis Cress Welsing talked about the symbolic nature of it. And we know with the experiments, I think it was, I don't know, Pablo, help me out, Damali, the experience between recessive and dominant genes, where you know what's going to happen once we talk about biology. So there's an active effort to neutralize that strong DNA. So, you know, I hate to keep bringing it to a different level. It's not just as simple as making money. It's so much more. It's so much more than that. And that's why I said I would marry Trash Can Sam as long as I don't have to worry about getting beat down. You know what I'm saying? Having to support the whole family, being left after I don't have 2.5 kids, being degraded if I make too much money. So I mean, we just need a healing in our community, I'd say, and understanding of what role you could play, because roles are even confused.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute, real quick. They're not just killing our men, but they're also locking up our men where they can't be an example or they can't be the head of their families.
Or making the men like men.
And feminization of the man. which could happen due to a biological reason. It could be trauma-based. It could be straight up just a preference. But a homosexual man is capable of being a man. I mean, that's not predicated upon whether or not he can lead and positively influence other men. Now, I know we got the transgender, truly effeminate, maybe getting the sex change turning into a woman. That's a different story. But I'm saying, who says a homosexual man can't really be a leader in the community?
It's not about that. It's about being able to procreate with the woman. If women like women and men like men, there will be no children.
Says who?
Period.
Because it's
period. Unless you in vitro, other than in vitro, there'd be no way. I mean, but, physically, honestly,
there's a way.
There is a way, but something won't. It would never. The imbalance. Yep. That imbalance would be different from those two loving each other and coming to a common bond of having children. So those children would be. Happens. You said, let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens, because what's going on with the movement and everything. It's becoming more accepted. At my job, I think yesterday was transgender. Observance day or something. I'm like, get out of here, because I remember when that word didn't exist. So my point is, we got about another decade or two. Let's see if the population dwindled down to zero because people are gay.
We got another decade or two. A decade or two for what?
Well, you saying, if people are gay, then procreation don't happen, but it does happen.
It happens because everybody not doing that.
I was in the military. You got marriages, arrangements where people procreate and live their life. Trust me, homosexual people are getting together. They are having kids because they could do it, whether they create the child or whether they create it with somebody else and hold the child. Whether or not
surrogate they get mothers.
Inseminated. Yes.
I'm not saying it's a bad
being
thing.
A surrogate
I just think you're confusing them. I don't want us to be confused about the situation of the whole situation. It's a touchy subject that I never want to touch. But the only reason why I don't want to touch this subject is because it doesn't really matter to me, because I really love my sisters, and it's not going to matter to me. It's not going to matter. Like if it's going to be one person, at least that one person start with me. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I'm not going. It's not boiled down to preference.
I'm just saying. I will not leave myself out. That's all I'm saying. I'm just going to be if I'm not the one, if I'm just going to be the only one, then I'm just going to stay in my lane and love my sisters, and that's it. That's all I got to say. You can't change me and none of that. Nothing. No, I don't care. You're just not going to change me. I'm not doing it. So I mean, I'm not. It's not a bad thing. I don't knock it. That's y'all. That's them. I don't care. But me personally, I'm only going with one way, and that's one way only. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? I love my sisters, and I would rather procreate with them, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? A man can't have a baby. That's it. That's just how I'm going to be. And until that changes, which is never going to change, at least I'll be the only one. So at this point in time, I'm going to stop with the picking with the women situation.
Please
and I'm going to move on.
About time. Shoot.
Michelle, don't do that to Mr. B. Come on now.
Whatever. I gotta make up for our other counterpart not being here. Come on, let's go.
That's why I'm glad I came up with this subject, because I know I get fired up. So at this point in time, I really want to go with soul food. I want to know how effective soul food is in your lives, and whether soul food plays a big important health issue in your families, or has ever been a health issue in your family, and whether soul food is your number one go-to when you are going out to eat or cooking at home. So let's go ahead. So who raised their hand? Oh, you eating? But let me go with Miss D on this one, because you shook your head first on soul food.
No. So first of all, I just started my vegan transition like 2 days ago. But before that, I still didn't struggle with soul food. I don't eat slave food. I don't eat intestines. I don't eat I just don't. The most soul food I eat is a bowl of greens and cornbread. You're not gonna find me eating chitlins. You ain't gonna find me eating pork. It's just not a struggle with me at all because it's just,
your greens ain't got the fat back in it enough.
My greens have smoked turkey in them.
Okay.
Before 2 days ago.
Okay. Oh my God. Okay. So you kind of got started into changing the way you eat and everything, and the way you are doing things differently. And I don't know if you have ever watched my Facebook page, but my Facebook page, I just posted a picture of myself and my body on there, where I pretty much I posted my body and everything. You know, I'm not ashamed of my body now, but before I was a starting tackle at my high school, and tackle is like Trent Williams. You know, if you think about the big guys of the football teams, I was almost 300 pounds.
Yeah, you're a big guy.
Yeah. So as me starting on the starting line in my high school, that just tells you that I was eating a lot of the bacon, the scrappled, and the different types of ribs and everything that has everything to say with when it comes to actually being in the soul food style of eating. And I'm not just talking about the meats. I'm talking about the 5 different cheeses of the mac and cheese. I'm talking about all of the different aspects of the soul food. Miss Michelle, I see you shaking your head over there. Let me hear about your aspect on soul food, and what do you think it does to you and going on in your family's life?
Ooh, you're making me hungry. You're making me hungry. Soul food was a connector of the family.
Okay.
Everybody knows, regardless of what type of soul food you cooked, everybody knew they were going to Big Mama's house every Sunday because we were going to have some soul food. Everybody knew once a month, every week, however see fit, soul food was the connector. It brought the families together. That was the time when nobody was fighting each other. That was the time nobody was having problems or issues with each other. And if you were, then you got it straight right then and there before you walked out that door. And I'm not saying this on a movie perspective. People actually took from the movie perspective and just actually implemented it in their homes. Okay. We already knew that soul food brought people together, like Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's a connector to bring all the families together once a year. They ain't seen each other. That's how soul food was. And far as the type of soul food, yeah, I love cooking. I'm sorry, I love eating soul food. But far as cooking it, I don't have that skill. I was the sous chef for my grandmother. I just did all the prepping. I let her mix everything together. Now I know how to make it because I prepped it, but I dare not try to go in the kitchen and be like, okay, how many measures is this? No, but overall, soul food is wonderful. However you use it is wonderful. Everybody at my grandma's, every New Year's Eve, Christmas, and Thanksgiving, they knew to go to Sister. They used to call her Sister. We call her Gammy. Her nickname for everybody was Sister. Every New Year's, we knew to go to Sisters for black-eyed peas and chitlins and peach cobbler. Every Christmas, yes. Every Christmas, they knew to go to Sister for the sweet potato pies, the greens, the turkey, and the ham. Every Thanksgiving, they knew to go to Sister for the greens. And Thanksgiving was menudo. Don't ask me why. My grandparents lived in San Antonio, so you already know what that culture is. Okay. Yeah, menudo. You know, Thanksgiving, we didn't always cook the regular food for Thanksgiving. Because we did
what's menudo? What's menudo?
Menudo is doggone it, you're gonna make me look
It's either cow's stomach or intestine. I can't remember which one it is. But it's a soup. It's kind of like, it reminds me of chitlins, but it's a soup that Hispanics make.
Menudo is part of the I'm sorry. The menudo is what part of the cow? Menudo is the stomach of the cow. It's the gut, the stomach of the cow. So overall, all the deacons of the church, you know, everybody knew on those holidays to go to sister's house because she's prepared.
No menudo.
I've never had it either.
It's as disgusting as it is, but just like chitlins. Now, Damali, I agree with you. I don't eat the chitlins. I don't eat the menudo. I don't eat the chicken and dumplings because I don't like the dumpling part.
Chicken and dumplings.
You know, but I'm sorry, but I gotta eat my pork. I gotta eat the oxtail. Excuse me, the oxtails, the ribs, the whatever else is pork, bacon, and all that wonderful stuff. But overall, there's nothing like soul food. Even all the other communities like soul food. Well, when you said that 4 cheese macaroni, I wanted to holler. I was like, yes, 4 cheese macaroni. That and then the soul food green bean casserole, the real soul food green bean casserole. And let's not talk about the desserts, the upside down pineapple pound cake, the oh goodness, the 7-Up cake, the
7-Up cake,
7-Up cake, the so many other crazy type of cake, carrot cake, pineapple cake,
see now, Michelle,
coconut cake.
You naming a lot of stuff I don't consider to be soul food. I just consider it to be good food.
Those are kind of the diet. Soul food is more like this.
When I think of soul food, I think specifically of the leftover meats that only the slaves ate.
I went from meats and vegetables to desserts. Y'all know good doggone well you don't have no soul food until you got the desserts. Or as vegetables, you got the candy yams, a 4 cheese macaroni, green bean casserole, the greens, whether it's mustard. Oh goodness, mustard, collard,
and the fat back grease in there.
Exactly, and then
I eat all that stuff. I eat everything you said, minus the pork.
and don't talk. Let's not miss the fried cabbage or the fried cornbread.
Fried cornbread.
Hot water cornbread.
Hot water cornbread. I'm sorry. Hot water cornbread.
Oh, baby, you need to come to the South so you can get an experience.
Yeah. So my thing is, overall, soul food is a connector. Something about when people gather for soul food, it does more than just fill your soul, fill your stomach. Let me fills your soul.
Let me go to Marcelo on this soul food kick. Soul food has. See, I don't think y'all haven't discussed how much it has hindered the community with the way your eating habits are. I'm gonna
let Marcella speak, but I want to speak to that after Marcella speaks.
I'm gonna definitely let Marcella speak because I want to hear what she got to say before I go on to the health part of the reason why I brought up the subject on soul food. But go ahead, Marcella. Go ahead.
What a trick! I never knew about menudo, but I do know about chitlins.
I've never heard of menudo.
I haven't either. It was actually, I think it was a group name menudo too. I don't know if it was spelled the same way. I had no idea.
That's the same aspect of beef triton.
Yeah, you know, but it speaks to the resilience of our community and our experiences that we would be given the enthralls of animals and able to turn that around into something that's considered a delicacy. Now, I'm not going to say that only the food kills, the stress kills, our conditions here in the U.S. and throughout the world where we'll tend to have very difficult jobs, high levels of stress, coupled with the food and lack of exercise don't help. I would say if you're eating unhealthily, it doesn't matter whether it's so-called soul food. I don't know what's soulful about having to, can you imagine the conditions that we had to live in, right? Where we had to eat that, don't you think they knew? I mean, do you think that the chitlins was thrown out clean like it is, so-called clean like it is in the supermarket? This is an example of us continuing traditions that might not work in our best favor. I live in the South. I think I can say the Macy-Dixon line, right? Dixie-Mason line. Okay, it's the Dixie-Mason line. And I've gotten into eating more soul food because the food tastes really good. You know, like when you go to a soul food restaurant, a lot of them, the further south you go, really do be tasting like your Aunt Edna's or somebody's soul food. I mean, it really does.
Okay.
But there are different ways to make it, and just because you eat it don't mean you can't work out. I, for one, I don't know about, like I said, the chitlins, the hog maws. Everybody know what they is. And hold on now. Damali and Michelle, the fact that they have menuto means there must be some connection back to Africa, right? And a lot of our cuisine, Africans eat knuckles and they soup. I mean, some of the meals are similar. Some of our cooking style actually derived from what we were used to. Now, granted, since we already was given various things that we might not have gotten in Africa, we kind of figured out, I would say, a way to merge them into something palatable. But we don't have to necessarily eat like that, I would say. I don't think that I don't think that some of the things that people consume are healthy.
So pickled pig. So all of y'all pickled pig feet eaters right now?
No, but I have family members that do and love it. I've seen Vienna sausage on the market. Hey, and it's look, Cubans and Puerto Ricans eat it. You could go into the bodegas and see that kind of stuff. It makes me wonder about the connection, the connectivity.
Well, the connection is high cholesterol. The connection is high blood pressure. Like the 60% of African Americans die from diabetes. And y'all haven't seen, have y'all ever understand that America is like on the totem pole, like almost last on dietary feedings and foods? We're like totally last. Totally last. You're just letting things go. I thought and Michelle, I can't believe you. I thought you were totally into this Bible thing. How could you totally be
listen. Wait a minute. Hold the mess up.
Where's the kitchen at with the pork stuff?
Oh, that's in the Old Testament. And if it is in the New Testament.
Now we gonna change.
No, because we're in the New Testament, we're in grace. However, there's over listen, whatever. There's over 600 and some sins. Every sin I try to meet, but when it comes to food, Lord, forgive me. I say my prayers every day. Forgive me this day, forgive me. Give us our daily bread and forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. Okay? That's why he say your prayers and ask for forgiveness every day, because there's over 600 and some sins or more in that Bible.
You pray before you eat the food.
I said, Lord, bless this food that I'm about to receive for the nourishment of my body. In Jesus' name, amen. And I pray and stand on his word to bless it.
But you're not supposed to be,
and all.
At this point in time, you guys got to know how to heal your bodies from within.
Yes.
And putting things in your system is basically tearing you down before you even start thinking about these Old and New Testaments. You have to think about what you're actually putting into your system that's going to break you down.
You know what made me quit pork? You know what made me quit pork?
What made you quit?
My mom loves ribs. And I remember back in high school, used to love ribs. I remember back in high school, she finally figured out that every time she ate some pork, her blood pressure would just shoot up. Like within an hour, her blood pressure was. So me, I was like, I was looking like, I don't want that to happen to me. So I think it was maybe 11th to 12th grade. I quit pork, cold turkey after that happened. Like, because I already knew the blood pressure problem ran in my family. So I was just like, yeah, I'm not. That was the first thing I cut out of my diet. And then over time, as you learn, you do better. But yeah, I think that, soul food is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I enjoy it once or twice a year, but it's not something that I can eat every weekend, multiple times a week. I can't even eat fried chicken every week. Like I think I might eat fried chicken like maybe
at least once a week, but it's gonna be every week. I can't.
So y'all out with the hot chicken and stuff.
So I've just been, since high school, college, kind of conscious of what I put in my mouth. And then once I graduated school and had a job, I could afford to buy some real food. Oh, it was on. I lost like 20 pounds after I graduated from college. So,
Well, let me say something real quick. Now, of all the fun and joking that I was doing, you are correct. It's not healthy.
It's not.
Okay. However,
it shouldn't be, that's the problem right there. It shouldn't be a however just because of the taste.
No, because tomorrow I'm going to go get me some barbecue. And a part of that barbecue is going to be some ribs and some brisket.
But there shouldn't be a however in that whole situation.
Listen, you could if I am eating something like that, maybe once a month, then that's fine, because the rest of the other days I got in my freezer. I bought a big old long salmon, and when I'm eating healthy and trying to keep myself, going, for lunch I will have a salad. For dinner I will have a salmon. So, for some people it's about the educational of it. If you're gonna eat it in proportions, not every day, all day. Okay, like we used to do back in the days. All right. So that's all I'm saying. We could still eat it, we could still do it, but do it modestly. All right. And just to let you know, even in the Bible it says we can't even eat shrimp. It ain't nothing wrong with shrimp. So may the Lord forgive me for eating shrimp.
Miss Marcella, what do you think about this attack on the African pride of soul food? I'm trying to tell you that it's more pride than anything, and I believe it's in y'all taste, but it's more in the pride of it. You take pride in eating these soulful things like the smothered pork chops and all that type of stuff. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I messed up and thought it was chicken one time, right? Girl, I ate the pork chop thinking it was chicken, right? Thinking it was chicken so bad, and I could not digest. I felt like I was drunk, and I passed out, and I was just earling it, and I felt so sick. I felt like I had the coronavirus in one day. But when I woke up after I got it out my system, yeah, I felt better. But I'm telling you right now, if something can do that to your body after you stop eating it for so long, what do you think about that? What do you think? How is it tearing your body and your system down if you're eating it every day?
Well, your system and your body gets used to it. So, I mean, sometimes that's the case.
I ain't never going to get used to that again.
If you ain't never ate it, then I can see you hurling it. If you ain't never ate it, though.
I ate it before, but after 6 to 10 years of not eating it, and I eat a piece of bacon, I'm going to be hurt. Like, my body cannot even take bacon right now. No, it's not happening.
Well, then your body's going to tell you what it can and cannot take. Take heed of it.
I can't even go to Burger King, and if they cook the same chicken, burger, or anything on the same exact grill with that bacon on there, I'm going to be hurting. So that's my whole mentality of how my body has definitely changed from eating the pork products. Well, and that pork products going through my body. If you did the same thing, if I weed you off of it for like 3 months and try to bring you back on there, you get the same results that I have.
But I'm smart. I'm not going to just eat a whole thing of something that I weaned my body off for so many months. I'm going to eat small proportions. Amen.
No, you ain't even going to take a bite of it. Trust me. Let me hear Marcella on this one, because I really want to know exactly the point of them not being able to fight off this quote unquote soul food talk of the world right now, of the black human race.
Why do we have to fight it off? It's part of our history.
It's killing you.
Listen, it's going to kill those that don't eat right. It's not just eating.
Not eating right is what I'm trying to say.
It's not just soul food though. Let's not put the full blame on soul food. It's not just soul food.
So you trying to tell me diabetes and all that's clogging up your system with that pig, with that pork system, with that.
It's not. Everybody is not always eating that. It's all this processed food, this box type of food. There were the meal is in a box. All that is making us unhealthy also.
You the one that said some menudo. I ain't never heard of menudo. So
listen, I just gave it as an example because it's a soup. But I'm just saying,
I've never heard of that. That's definitely where y'all at in Texas somewhere.
I'm just saying, you asked the question. We can't put the blame, so I'm gonna switch it. We can't put the blame all on soul food. I am not fat.
Soul food.
I am not fat and don't have jiggly arms, but just because of soul food. I am fat and got jiggly arms because of sugar, bread, fast food, fried chicken, and everything else. So I can't blame because I don't always eat soul food. And
so
I'm
you're saying
still
it's more than the pig thing. No, I don't believe that.
Yes, it is.
I believe
yes,
if you cut that one thing out, that half of that be gone.
No, it won't.
Let's see what Marcella has to say, because I see you at the edge of your seat, ready to jump in.
It's a touchy subject right there. I done touched her with it. That's all right. You need to leave that rib alone. Go ahead.
Well, it's a known fact that lack of exercise and being obese, what they would call obese, are some contributing factors, but the main thing that is stated that it's the abdomen, the visceral fat that they notice people who have diabetes often have, right? Visceral fat can also come from being under high levels of stress also, because it deals with cortisol. So I'm not a medical doctor, but there is definitely a lifestyle component to diabetes that's a bit that goes beyond food also. I think it's a contributing factor. Now, I'm not going to argue with you about whether or not pork raises people's blood pressures. A lot of people on this planet that don't eat pork because it's, for them, it's a forbidden type of hoofed animal, forbidden type of meat. And I'm not even going to go get through, what constitutes a swine, right? But what I will say is that I grew up in a major city, Philadelphia, and it's just not a lot of pork eating there. It's a part of the culture. It's a huge Muslim population. I didn't grow up being accustomed to eating pork like it is ate down here. I think it is the diet, but you got to know we have food deserts in poor areas of the city.
Thank you.
And so you don't really have a choice, because that's all you're being given, because you don't control your own food source. And so, like a lot of times, again, everything is our fault. But we can carry physical traditions from one generation to the other. And then they say sometimes you could just be predisposed to diabetes, but it's the same thing. If you're carrying it in your DNA, it's being carried down through the ages. It's a physical, and diabetes could be a spiritual component too, because if you was back in the day eating the stuff that they say causes diabetes, but guess what? You were in the field, right? And if you had diabetes, you probably eventually went into a diabetic coma or whatever. But I think, the fight or flight, the type of work we used to do, perhaps when we started eating those things, it might not have been as bad. But now we live a pretty sedentary life. If you ain't working out, and if you are working out, you probably won't have a pork chop or any chitlins, because you're on a strict protocol to build your body. Lastly, but not least, I say that oftentimes we get blamed for our issues in our community that just didn't spark from us just eating all types of other things. It was reasons behind that. And so I would say that, shouldn't no Black person feel any more guilty about eating food that's indigenous to their culture, or no, their forced culture, because I don't even think the type of pig we eat here in the U.S., nor was horses or cows in Africa, right? And so my point is this: we shouldn't feel any more guilty than any other culture feels. Latinos eat, Asians eat their food. Everybody, as a matter of fact, as Dr. Layla Africa would say, they have a town in any city.
Not everybody, though.
That's the point I'm making. But every other culture that does have a mapping back that didn't deal with the issues of slavery can see their cultures represented in restaurants and even Chinatowns, Little Italy, throughout the U.S. and other parts of the world. We don't. It's not really on our dinner plates. It's on our dinner plates to a degree, but we don't own areas and pockets where we're benefiting from our culture and our food is being disrespected. You could cook.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you a question like this. Does every last one of you have grass in your yard?
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me you couldn't dig that grass out the way and make your own farming system?
The Molly, she's eating vegan.
No. What I'm saying is, like the flower, you have flowers in your house. I'm looking at.
But I don't live in a food desert though, so I don't need to. So I get your point. I don't live in a food desert. I have a Walmart 5 minutes that way. I have an
that's
HEB.
Even worse, because
I have an HEB 6 minutes that way. So I don't live in a food desert, but I am actually starting gardening this year.
So you would put your life in hands of someone else than putting yourself in your own hands.
No, actually, I'm actually starting a garden this year.
Because if you see how I sent y'all a picture of everything that I've done just during the pandemic, I've had all different types of vegetables, from actual greens to lettuce to different types of tomatoes to different types of peppers to even my watermelons, where I have the regular watermelon, the black diamond watermelon. You guys have to understand that the aspects of how things can
control
really
your
be cultivated.
food.
If everybody in each yard had different farming system, we wouldn't even have stores right now at this point. You wouldn't even go to Walmart. You would put Walmart to the bottom of the totem pole. So when Michelle was talking about her sugars and everything, I don't know how many cereal boxes she has in her house, but I'm pretty sure that most people eating this cereal has
it's not cereal.
No,
it's not
no
cereal. It's sodas, candy.
Okay.
Anything that just has high sugar in it. It's not just cereal. It's a lot of foods.
No, you said it's not just cereal, but you have how many cereal boxes in your house do you have?
None. I don't even feed my son cereal.
Because you know how hyped they could be as soon as they eat it.
No, it's because of the sugar. My son's oatmeal, grits, waffles, and only closest to sugar that they are getting is honey or a little syrup. And they do good to get that. That's what I feed. Eggs, bacon, sausage. I feed them real breakfast. You know,
you mean
now,
pork bacon at this point.
I grew up on cereal.
I got a lot of cereal in my house.
Right. I grew up on cereal, but I'm not feeding my sons that, but there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of food out there that's high in sugar, including bread. Am I wrong, Marcella?
Yeah, bread too.
Bread, white bread, and even some of this so-called wheat bread that they talk about. Right.
It says some wheat breads contain metal. But once again, you guys are talking about things that you buy at the store that's going to put things in your system that's making you not being able to process it correctly. So those are the kind of things that I wanted to discuss to you ladies about on how soul food is actually implemented in the Black community and how praised it is amongst Black people. Like you've seen how as soon as I talked about it, it was a touchy subject. Like it was, I want to fight for my food. This is the first thing I want to fight for. So you're fighting for these things, like during your Thanksgiving, it's like a smorgasbord on different things that you can't process. How many plates of Thanksgiving plates have you gone through that you felt, oh my God, I could barely even move. I could barely even do anything. You know, you done candied out the yams to where if you brush your teeth, you got to brush your teeth for 3 or 4 times that day after the candy yam. You got to really understand what's processing through your body and your system and know your system. So the reason why I'm saying this is because it's a book that came out. I got this book, and if you don't want to read the book, my favorite thing is to audio book it. But it's called Medical. Oh, what is it called? Medical.
Is it apartheid?
Apartheid.
Yeah.
Medical Apartheid is basically the book that Miss Washington, I think it's Harriet T. Washington, came out with this book on understanding of the way that they are basically killing us off easily. And and she sacrificed writing this book. She sacrificed everything she has done within her job to write this book on how they basically killing you off. I mean, they even talked about pretty much how the vaccine is basically going to kill you off. You know, it's a nano microchip where they nanally put things in your system. But we're not going to go there on that because that's probably a whole nother situation that I don't want to get into. And we don't have 3 or 4 hours of discussing why you should take the coronavirus vaccine or why you should. Because the only thing is they're just going to try to keep you from going to certain planes, going to certain vacations. But if you have enough money, you don't need to go to an airline. You could just buy a jet for $40,000 and then take you on a trip. You can go there, come back, and you ain't got to worry about nobody else messing with you. That's why I wanted to talk to you, Michelle, about that. We'll discuss about that later. But I just want to tell y'all about how we're sacrificing our bodies just because of heritage words, the heritage of how the food processes through your body. And just because your grandmas and your other grandmas was the ones that's cooking it, and now you're the one that's cooking it, you should be able to know why were you eating that. You know what I'm saying? It was the scraps back then, but now it's it's so tasty now. But it was scraps back then. Before you know, they tell you not to go kill the pig, because technically if you light a pig on fire, it will blow a whole house up. Like, it just contains that much grease, that much everything in it, that basically, how could that process through your body in your skin? Do you know how many years this potency of pork would go through your system? It takes years for you to be able to digest it through your body. So the things I can only tell you is about me. The first thing I'm talking about is about me. I lost so much weight in just a matter of months because I cut all of those aspects out, and I barely worked out, and now my body looks oh so good. Now I'm trying to just get a six-pack at this point. I'm just trying to work on my six-pack. So once I get my six-pack, I'm definitely not wearing my shirt. I might come on here like, shoot, I'm shirtless today. I don't care. I'm shirtless. Just because I want to be able to have the means of letting you guys know that you should be okay with how you feel with your body. You should be okay with how you look every day. You should be okay with the things you eat. But the first thing you got to do is understand what you're eating. Is it a medicine? Is it healing your body? You don't have to go to the doctors all the time and take some type of medicine that they're giving you. So you got to be drugged up in order for it to heal your body, when all you had to do was bite an apple or an orange every day and things would have healed itself. You know, you have to be thinking about that, what's going to really heal you instead of what's really hurting you. If you're really cooking it, to be honest, if you got to cook it and not just bite into it or rip it out the ground and bite into it or pick it from a tree, it's going to hinder you in some type of way, because you're automatically putting means in your system that really is not processing too well with your body. So how long has that person lived off? How long is it going to take for you to just understand that the wrinkles on your body has gotten more wrinkly because of the things that you're eating? You got to really realize these things. The reason why I asked you this, because it doesn't seem like y'all haven't been affected with your family. Your family life hasn't affected you. Like, somebody in your family hasn't had clogged arteries and hasn't just gave out on you because of what they're eating naturally. So that automatically got ruled out automatically.
No, I lost my grandmother to high blood pressure and stroke.
Okay.
So I but it was at the point that I had already been battling things that I knew would affect my blood pressure if I didn't do something. Okay. So that's why I made that decision when I was younger to not even put certain things in my body.
What about you, Marcelo?
Yeah. I agree with everything that you stated. You know, health starts from hand to mouth. And we know what works and what don't. It's not just pork and hog maws and chitlins. It's the genetically modified organisms. It's the fast food restaurants. It's just a piss poor standard American diet. I'm not, but I used to be a vegan. Excuse me. Hold on.
Oh, you gotta sip your tea. I see you.
But for me, it became a way of, I wanted to stop seeing the pain in the world. And one of the easiest ways is just to stop causing it through eating. And also, we know that the methane's from cows. I'm sounding like a freaking vegan commercial, but the methane from cows is part of the issue with the depleting of the ozone, and also a rise in what we call greenhouse gases here on this planet. But I'm no longer a vegan. I love to prepare vegan food. I love to eat in vegan and vegetarian restaurants. And I also know that, you know, from being in the military, you can't be lean and mean and moving without moving. You got to move, exercise, eat right, think right, get clean air and water. And we just have a tradition in some instances just been passed down. But finding out the other cultures do menudo soup and everything, it's everybody suffered, and it shows in the food.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what they found? They did a study and found that it's another group of people, because we get diabetes at such a large rate that they just can't understand what's happening. A lot of people think it's lifestyle, racism and everything. And they found another group that was experiencing some issues also that has high rates of diabetes. And they did attribute it to the fact that the government had stopped bringing in fresh fruits because they was deporting them, and they started eating a lot of, for some reason, America started sending over, was it turkey butts?
Oh Lord!
Yeah, so they definitely attribute that actual action, I can't remember the name of the movie, to the fact that they were outsourcing all of their vegetables and feeding them a really poor diet, which was one that they wasn't used to. And so over a period of not that long, not even a decade, barely 10 years, the diabetes, it just skyrocketed in an area that didn't have it. So I do believe it is diet. I believe it's exercise. I believe it's stress. And I believe when people are passing on through their genes, it's just an imprint from previous generations' strife.
Okay. And let me add, it's also a lack of sleep. A lot of people don't know that if you don't get the proper amount of sleep, it will be the catalyst to your
I lost if that's the case.
Diabetes. My mother actually experienced this. Diabetes started for her when her husband had a job where he was waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and her sleep was just shot to hell at that period of time. And in that period of time, she actually I don't know what became diabetic. So sleep is very important too, and a lot of people don't know that.
I definitely don't get any sleep. What about you, Michelle? I know you're argumentative about this, and I know Mr. B can't change you, but at this point in time, I'm just trying to help you and trying to give you a little bit of aspect of how things are. I know I can't change. I can't change no one. I can only just give you some insight on it.
Well, that's the thing about it. I have common sense to know when enough is enough. And that's what people need to come to that point. I'll put it this way. I'll give a little history about me. I love to eat, yes, but I'm not that. Eating is my comfort zone, okay? I just like good food. I was an asthmatic for over 25 years. So all my life, I was always on steroids. So the highest I've gotten was 300 pounds. I'm not ashamed of myself. I weighed myself today. I'm 270 pounds, okay? And I was like, okay, I already knew enough was enough. Look, 25% I could blame on COVID, but the other 75% I blame on Michelle. Because Michelle could have still went outside and walked. Michelle could have still went and watched how she ate, but she didn't. I used COVID along with everybody else.
I didn't use COVID like that.
Then listen, I did. I used it as an excuse, and that's why I'm back 270 pounds. But I say that to say this, because I was on steroids for over 25 years, I did have the lap band. And for the first time in my life in 30 years, by the time I had the lap band, I never knew what being under 200 pounds was. The lowest that I got was 165 pounds. But at that point, I did something to make me start wanting to be healthy. It's a mental thing. When I saw where I was at and how I looked and what it took to stay that way, that's what made me get more into, okay, yeah, I need to eat healthy. I need to eat right. You know, let me find out what other foods that are out there that are still good but still healthy. You see what I'm saying? It's sad that it takes certain things in your life to make you be healthy, especially when you wasn't raised to be and eat healthy. Okay. You know, I'm gonna be skinny in the next 2 months. I ain't gonna tell you what I'm doing because y'all probably I'm serious. I'm not gonna tell you what I'm about to do because y'all gonna probably be against it. But y'all gonna, as you continue seeing,
as long as it ain't surgery, because surgery is like having a car. Surgery is like a car accident.
I'm not going no, because I had the lap band. The reason why I had the lap band is because I was on steroids for so long that my body was used to eating, and it was just hard for me to lose weight. So I had guidance to help me lose weight. And even with the lap band, I still had to eat healthy. Even though I couldn't eat as much, I still had to eat healthy. People think these weight loss surgeries, you know, you can still eat anything you want. That's a lie. Let me tell you now, it is a lie. I still had to eat healthy. So my thing is this: healthy eating is needed. Healthy eating is good. And if we open our minds to know that there's other foods out there that's good and healthy, then we can start making a difference in our lives. That's all. I'm not trying to stay on the soul food and all that, because I already know it's not healthy. So
okay.
And by the way, look, if these 5 a.m. workouts and this veganism don't get rid of this little bit of little like that right here, I'm gonna give me a mommy tuck. So I'm not against surgery.
Don't do that. I really don't think the surgeries are healthy, and anything that people are trying to do to unnaturally do things is going to kind of depressurize your lifespan. So I really want you guys to start thinking about how healthy you really want to be mentally first, and do it through health without trying to sacrifice your body with spending money on trying to get a surgically removed or as anything that's going to develop you as a person. One thing you shouldn't do is actually try to cut into it. Just do it. Just do it by yourself. Don't let anybody else take away.
I'm getting up at 5 a.m. Strat, but if it don't work, I'm getting my money.
Strat, I did that. Now I will say, when I gained my weight back from the lap band, I kept the weight off about a good 3.5 years.
Okay.
But when I gained the weight back, when I had my first child, I had my kids late. What I did was I watched what I ate. I just did some of those home remedies. I was drinking apple cider vinegar with 8 ounces of water 3 times a day, pretty much before I ate. Then I would go outside, do my jump rope, do my suicides. You know how it used to be in school, basketball court. You go to each line, back and forth so many times. And then I would get my sons, put them in the stroller, walk around the whole apartment complex, walk first, then run pushing them. So that's an additional 50 pounds of weight. I lost 40 pounds in 3 months. So my thing is, it's all about how you want to do and what you want to do. If you want
I don't believe you should surgically do anything. Me personally, like, I've seen some females that got the surgeries, and I personally don't like the toothpick look. I don't like their skin falling off. I just want them to do it naturally. And I like them bigger. I just liked them. I thought they was much sexier, bigger than being a little toothpick. I'm sorry. I thought they.
I always be voluptuous, but that second roll though, right here.
Yes. We can keep the first roll. Let's pull in that second roll. I got it for you. Let me show you.
Don't get going nowhere, man.
Look, let me show you. It's this roll here, and then it's this roll here, and then you got a lump. Okay? You got a lump.
I'm actually crying right now. I can't believe you got performing right now. I actually got tears. I swear to God.
We are confident Black women. I love myself. Don't get me wrong. I love myself. I look at my big self every day. It's just something about me. I'm still voluptuous, but I'm going to go from 270 to 200, because when I had the lap band surgery, I realized that I was still full, but I was still a nice, healthy weight at 200. So my thing is, listen, you can eat your food, eat it modestly, eat healthy, do an exercise regimen, you'll be fine. Bottom line. That's what it is.
Water.
Be like, period.
Drink water.
Marcella, you want to sum this up before I finish crying right now?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm going to say period, point blank, man. Drink water, eat healthy, and exfoliate.
Huh. Okay. So, and that's it. That's the remedy for everything.
Point blank, man.
Wash it down, huh? Wash it down.
Yeah.
Well, me personally, I just really think you guys really need to reconsider the soul food section of your eating habits. Michelle,
it's only once or twice a year, Strad.
Michelle, stop shaking your head like that. And I'm being honest, stop and think and reconsider. The menudo thing, the beef tripe, all that stuff gotta stop.
Yeah.
It just gotta stop. Just give me a chance. Give it a chance.
I'm gonna eat my soul food if I can once a month. If it ain't once every quarter, I mean, I'm still gonna eat soul food. Bottom line,
I don't even know what quarters mean sometimes, but okay.
Every 3 months. No, every 4 months. I'm sorry, every 4 months. No, every 3 months. 3, 6, 9, 12. Sorry, every 3. Wait a minute, spring, summer. Yeah, every 3 months.
It's 3 months. It's 3
If
months.
I start crying on here, I don't know what to do. I'm telling you, I don't know what to do right now.
Well, look, Strad. Hey, I already started my vegan journey yesterday. So hopefully you'll see, a little bit of this come down a little bit. You'll see the changes over time. We'll see.
I really think just do things differently right now. Consider a lot of fruits and vegetables. Yeah. If you're gonna be snacking, just snack with fruits and vegetables. I know fruits and vegetables are now high priced now, but the point of me making that.
I didn't even know they made them that small. No, that's ice cream. I didn't even know they made that small.
I don't want no ice cream at that.
Y'all just need to come to Texas and just upgrade your life.
What's in Texas? It sounds like I ain't trying to be there with no
ice cream. That's small.
There's a whole lot of stuff in Texas that you need. Okay.
What she say? What Miss D say?
I said I have never seen that ice cream that small, and she making fun of me.
Michelle, hold your ice cream up so people can see what we talk about.
I don't know what's in Texas, but
Michelle has been eating Bluebell ice cream, which is a Texas native ice cream, and it's a small pint. And Marcella said she never saw a pint of ice cream before.
Oh, not that brand, not that brand.
Bluebell is Texas, baby. If you want the best ice cream, you just come and visit.
Just come and visit Texas. You messing with
Listen, you come to Texas. Go to Brenham, Texas, where Bluebell ice cream is. You go in that mug and you see how they make that ice cream, and then you walk out of there with that sample in your mouth. Yeah.
Look at you. I'm gonna miss you. Pump it too? You gonna pump it?
Listen. I am getting it out of my system because I just love. I went to my. Wait a minute. I went to my program today, and they told me between now and Sunday, I better eat everything I can because come Monday, all that's gone. So I'm going to enjoy this weekend.
Okay. Girl, I wish you the best. I just want you to make sure that you do it through your health and not do it through surgeries or try to remove anything don't need to be removed.
I am not having no more surgeries, man. Please.
Don't do nothing.
The lab band did it
as you can. Ladies, at this point in time, I want you to promote your businesses at this point in time. So I don't think I can stop crying at this point. I'm going to just go ahead and leave it like that.
Damali, he didn't think we were strong women and confident in ourselves to show all our...
you did give me a show, though. The only one that gave me a show was Marcella. Y'all done gave me... Everybody gave me a show right there. Y'all done gave me a whole little show right there. That's why I'm crying a little bit. Like, my eyes right there is tearing up right now, so I can't even stop the tears from coming out at this point. So I'm going to just let myself have these tears, enjoy my tears at this point. Like, these part of my cheeks hurt right now because how I feel about this situation. This was a great situation to talk about on soul food. And I really feel as though that, you really need to research about it, even though I know you don't want to hear it, Michelle. You need to research it, look at your health, look at you as a person, and believe that Mr. B loves you regardless of what you look like. Who you are.
On me. Did you not hear me say through my whole conversation that I've been eating healthy? Lucille now.
No, you didn't say you was eating healthy, Menudo.
No, I gave Menudo as an example. No, you ain't gonna put it all on me. Didn't you not hear me say you need to eat healthy? And you can maybe eat modestly, the soul food once a month, but you need the mentality, get it out your mind and just eat healthy. What part of what all I just said you did not hear? You will not make it seem like I am not trying to be healthy. Yeah, I'm fat. I know I'm fat. And I'm still eating healthy and gonna go back to eating healthy. Leave me the mess alone. Don't put me out like that on public TV. And all of y'all have a good time laughing. Because I'm going to get the last laugh in 2 months. And I'm going to see who looking good and eating healthy then. Doggone it.
Well,
it's been said. It's been said.
Whew, Lord. I was just saying that to go to you on talking about your business, but woo.
Hello, everybody. My name is Michelle Black, and I'm the wonderful owner of the Kingdoms Group. And the Kingdoms Group includes Kingdoms Travels and Kingdom Administrative Services. Please note that we are prepared and ready to serve you for all your business matter needs and administrative needs. Feel free to reach me at 346-917-0048 extension 1, or you can email me at info@kas-llc.com. Be blessed, everybody. I hope you was able to enjoy my wonderful unopinionated opinion. Be blessed. Now, how was that for you?
Man, she don't.
Let's go with Miss D on this one, Miss D.
That was funny. How you switch like that?
I don't have it. Okay. All right. So you can catch me on my blog, Journey with Damali, on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. Also, I'm with a nonprofit organization that operates in Fifth Ward, Houston, Texas, a very underserved population in an underserved community. If you would like to check us out, it's ourafricanfamily.org with a K. So check us out, and if you would like support.
Miss Marcella, let's go ahead.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Marcella, owner of Rubik LLC. Where we specialize in business and strategic management services, and we serve Child, you guys better stop. We serve marginalized and underrepresented communities by supporting businesses that have a mission to support them also. So if you are interested in learning more about my services and doing business with me, I can be reached at info@erubic.com. Info@erubic.com. ERUBRICK.com. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and search me through Google. I'm there for you.
All right. And I am Mr. Stradivari, Mr. B. I am actually a music teacher, artist, and director at this point in time. At this point in time, I created a virtual music studio where kids can come and play any instrument of all ages. I'm able to virtually teach them throughout the existence of the metropolitan area. And since it's virtual, it's anywhere in the world. You can come and meet me and see me, and I can help your children become great and talented musicians. I build strong wealth and health and care about your children, building their mentalities, become great and talented people, and also give them the chance to actually explore themselves and challenge themselves, regardless of if they want to be athletes. Athletes can be great musicians. So please just think about Mr. B. Stradivari as your health and wellness person today at this point. Just trying to give you a little knowledge on knowing about yourself, your system, and building your health and self-care. And at this point in time, I would say that this unpopular opinion has really, really given us today an aspect of that. It doesn't matter, through the matriculation of these talks, that we can also build from each other and learn from each other, and most of all, have a good time. So once again, I would like to say I love you ladies for coming on to this show, giving your unpopular opinion. Marcella, you actually just hit the ballpark today. You was totally on today with everything that you said. And Damani, you just basically gave us everything that we had, Miss D. You gave me everything I needed. And Michelle, you totally hit everything in all the aspects of, you might be opinionated, but there is also a lot of truth in what you're telling us. And everything that you do say, at least you stick to your guns and you know exactly. You're not the only person that feels the way you feel. I'm not the only person that feels the way I feel. And no one on this group has an opinion that nobody else is thinking about. So just remember, today was a battle. Today was definitely a battle when it comes to the men versus the women, the battle of the sexes with 1 + 24, and also the Asian community on how the Asians are putting their focus on the Black community to help them and give them and fight for them, to die for them, basically. This is one of the most important parts today, that we have these conversations between each other to understand who we are as people, and we can build and bridge the gap, that there is no wrong in just giving our words on what we think and what we're going through at this point in time. So I really appreciate you ladies coming on today and giving your strong popular opinion, because it might be unpopular to so many, but it's popular to us, okay? So I really thank you. I enjoy your time spending with me, and every day is a great day just meeting you and understanding you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're so welcome.